Hey guys, just going to let you know that this commentary is going to be scripted so I don't get confused of what I'm going to say. That was, it won't get any more negative commentaries or comments or dislikes.
Yeah, that whole not getting confused and stumbling over your words is working out great for you right now, isn't it? See, people, this is living proof to scripting does not always make you better.
This one is going to be better, so here we go. Today we are doing a commentary on another Smosh hater. Jeez, why so many Smosh haters?
Because people have the opinion that Smosh is not that good of a YouTuber. Hell, I'm of that opinion myself. I'm not a fan of Smosh. What the fuck does it matter how many haters they have? Are you a fanboy of Smosh? Because that's the only thing I can take out of this so far.
Smosh sucks. Reason why is because they don't even show, like, they don't even show they keep putting the censored, they don't even show, they just put those censored black squares on the inappropriate stuff.
The reason why they put those black squares and blurs because they don't want to get account strikes or get this video removed.
And I thought my videos came out with horrible static every time I recorded a video.
So, who cares? Is your mama don't let you do that? This is why Ian's grandma sucks.
Okay, first of all, that's not Ian's grandmother, that's his mom. And most of the videos he repeated it that it was his mom. Second of all, the censor stuff, the blocking, the penises and stuff, they did that because they don't want their videos to be removed or else they will face the community guidelines. Third of all, you are a little kid to understand that Smosh sucks in any way. Why does Smosh suck?
You are a little kid to understand anyway that Smosh sucks. Why does Smosh suck anyway? What the hell are you saying here? I thought you were scripting your video to make yourself sound more intelligent. What the fuck? You dropped the ball, didn't you?
You are the one promoting to other viewers that you are 8 or 5 years old.
I bet she's the one who's involved in this. Maybe you're too immature to show them.
They are most likely acting immature in all their videos. The reason why is because they are trying to be funny and not the way you pronounced it.
Oh, hold on, I gotta drain my $5 footlong. That means I gotta take a tinkle.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Smosh is the model of fucking maturity, isn't he? Constant sex jokes, references to your own dick, and, well, in this video called Drink Your Piss, drinking piss is not comedy. Unless, of course, maybe you're 8 years old.
Mature people show the censor. Babies.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you not want the censor boxes and blurs and censorship on their videos? Do you really want to see their dicks? Because you are a perverted little kid, you are.
Well, maybe the little kid's gay, so he might just want to see the ghibli bits of another man. But then again, he's been talking about seeing the tatas of women this entire time. And what do you expect? He's an 8-year-old boy. Around that age, most young boys, young men, start fantasizing about the opposite gender. Unless, of course, they're homosexual, then they start fantasizing about the same gender. At least I would assume that's the way, because when I was 8, believe me, yeah, it started coming into my mind, the ideas of another person, of the opposite gender.
Okay, you suck. Suck this. Smosh is funny.
Smosh sucks. They shouldn't put the censor stuff in. The reason why I am scripting this is because the reason I didn't last time because of all the hate, that I don't give a shit. I did figure the solution why I get hate. But with script, it's kind of better and faster to do a commentary. This is why little kids don't belong on YouTube. They are really confused and scratch their scrotums to think of the problem why he hates Smosh. And now he is complaining about the censorship. That is why it is provided not to show kids.
There was so much wrong with that previous statement, I don't even know where to begin. You start off talking about, yeah, Smosh sucks. But the entire time throughout this entire commentary, you've been talking about how Smosh doesn't suck. And then you go through this talking about why you scripted your video, and you still jumble over your own words. You have no points whatsoever that make any sense into this entire segment whatsoever. So please, tell me, sir, how is scripting your videos making it any better for you? Or us, for that matter.
But if they took out the blurry stuff and the censored, or is it uncensored? Kind of mistaken here. Well, they're too stupid to get they're dumb. Why not take away the blurry stuff? This is why I put the dislikes bar. I love it when they put dislikes. Dislikes, dislikes, oh yeah, oh yeah. Dislike bar sucks.
I think this kid is jealous is because Smosh, they can get more views than he could. The dislike bar is all about complaint and negative review. You get it, and Smosh doesn't.
No, I don't really think this child is jealous. I just think he's extremely immature, and he actually has his own viable reason in his own immature little mind that not being able to see the titties of a woman on YouTube is a good reason to not like Smosh's videos. Why do you assume that he's immediately jealous? Fuck, why does everyone assume anytime you go up against someone, say if I go up against the AVGN, people are going to call me jealous of him? It's about as illogical as his reasoning for not liking Smosh. And to put it plainly, you're making yourself come off as a huge fucking fanboy of Smosh. And as a matter of fact, if you're going to say because he gets dislikes and Smosh doesn't get as many dislikes per capita on the views of their videos, I could easily say that you're jealous of me because I don't get nearly as many dislikes as you do, because on this video, when I downloaded it, it had 7 dislikes over 1 like. So, tell me, Mr. Commentary, are you jealous of me?
It is no... Smosh sucks, okay? Yeah, you may... check out the underbar to see my other Smosh sucks video.
In all honesty, it might not be that he was too lazy, it might just be that he's an 8-year-old kid and gets easily distracted and forgot to put that in the description box of his video. Okay, people, just to put this very plain, very simple, Mr. Commentary proved himself to be just as stupid as this 8-year-old kid he was commentating on. At least in my own personal opinion, and we all know that I'm always fucking right, and there's no way around it. And oh, Mr. Commentary, which I don't understand why you called yourself that. That is an extremely egotistical username for you to call yourself Mr. Commentary as if you are the commentator. I'm better than Youngblood. I'm better than M-Skull. I'm better than Realm Wars. I'm better than Mr. Firebird. I'm better than Acroloth. I'm better than Danger Mouse. It's very egotistical of you, sir. But I just wanted you to know that this video I'm doing right now, it's unscripted.
Hello YouTubers, this is Joshua428 speaking.
Wow, your voice is really gay. I mean, how gay can one girl's voice be? I can't even believe you are a girl. What video are you going to be commentating on? I bet it's something that's cooler than your feet.
Today's commentary will be commenting on How Sushi Rises Again.
Shut the fuck up!
Durr, you're a stupid recolor faggot who makes jokes about My Little Pony and you're stupid.
Xantho manga commentary. I think you guys get the drill and all that, but those who don't, please take a look at my Zelda manga commentary introduction.
Yeah, it was really stupid and gay and stuff and and stupid.
Okay, let's dive in.
As the Lynx head east, they take it upon themselves to rest, train, and improve their skills.
That's a good idea. They're gonna need to prepare themselves for what lies ahead.
Just sorry.
Thanks, nostalgia. God, you know what? Forget it. I cannot do this. Sorry, guys. I was going to make a video in the form of a third-gen faggot, or at least as close as I could get. But sadly, I have a functioning brain that won't allow me to do this. So back to the normal professor. And if you made it this far, then I commend you.
While Blue and Green are sparring, Vio notes that an effective way of collecting force is to find condensed forms called force gems. But finding the gems will be a demanding task since they can only be found in certain places. Blue, impatient kid that he is, wants to get back at Shadow Link for everything that happened at Hyrule Castle, but Red and Green understand that they have to risk taking their time to find the gems if it means fully restoring the Force Sword. Unbeknownst to the four heroes, Shadow Link knows exactly where they're headed, and sends a tiny eyeball creature to keep watch over them for him.
Keep an eye on him, slave. We need to make sure that everything goes according to plan.
Hey Joshua, you know what this black piece of shit does for the video? It takes away from how good the retrospective actually is. You say you are wanting to inspire Danny, or whatever. Well, I'm afraid if you keep doing this stupid shit, you're going to do nothing more than probably make her wish she never started the series in the first place.
Their destination? The village of the Blue Maiden. The scene switches over to a little girl, bidding farewell to her doll, but then she overhears a commotion outside of her home. The adults of the village are on the verge of rioting, and before she could get swept into the brawl, the four Links appear, shielding her and pushing them away. They chastise the adults for acting like children, which as it turns out is exactly why the village is on the verge of chaos. The little girl introduces herself as Irune, and her first impression of the Links is that they're quadruplets.
And it's quite understandable. After all, they do look exactly alike. Aside from clothes.
Hey everyone, guess what? The Master of Obvious strikes again! Joshua, it's not necessary to point out that quadruplets look the same, since that is common knowledge. You waste of oxygen. But really, is anyone even surprised that he's still pointing out the obvious?
Which they immediately deny. Irune explains that a storm came through the village 10 days ago, taking 18 children with it. The parents have not had any luck in trying to locate them, but Irune has noticed a shadow that looks exactly like one of her missing friends. The four decide that they will solve this mystery, believing Vati to be behind it since he had taken maidens in the past. And seeing as Irune is the only child left in the village, surely he will come for her. That night, Red, Blue, and Vio discuss their mission when Blue senses something and jumps to the defensive, only to find a rock in his bed. Meanwhile, Green finds Irune outside with her doll. She tells him,
What, no stupid joke about this being a rocky situation? You really disappoint me, Joshua. You really do.
Green picks up on her hesitation, realizing that Rosie means a lot to her, and says that she shouldn't be so quick to throw her away. And then Blue appears to drag Green away for sneaking off, as he puts it.
Will this kid ever learn to stop being so brash?
Will you ever learn that you have no idea what a, quote, real commentary is, unquote, and leave YouTube? Your Let's Plays are crap as well, by the way.
Once Irune is alone, Rosie suddenly speaks, promising to take her to a place where children can play forever.
Come with me to the places where we can play forever.
Why did you think that this was necessary? That was horrendous. Hey everyone, want to make your video shit in an instant? Well, call 1-800-DUMBASS and Shadwick the Hedgehog will make your dreams come true.
The Links overhear the commotion and find that Irune is gone. Only her shadow remains. Suddenly, the rocky eye creature appears behind Green, bringing reinforcements to taunt him and corner him before wrapping him in a strange light. Green awakens to find Red, Blue, and Vio with him, but the village looks warped and nightmarish. They notice some figures in the distance, but only find toys when they catch up to them. The toys talk about how they're in a world where there are no adults, no rules, no work, where they will never tire or grow hungry, a place where children can play and have fun all they want for eternity. In this world, all of the captured children have become toys themselves. The Lynx then come face to face with the being that brought them here, the stone monster Argus. The creature summons the army of tiny rock eyes, using them to beat the Lynx back from attacking it directly. Green orders the others to attack the smaller eyes by using some of the toys against them. And here we get to see some of the more typical Zelda items that we get in the games. Green takes the boomerang, Vio takes the bow and arrows, Red takes the slingshot, and Blue takes the hammer. When they kill the eye creatures, they feel the Force Sword gaining power, and they see this as the perfect opportunity to collect Force. Soon only Argus remains, who begins to cry all over Red, mourning the loss of its children. Its tears harden and trap Red into the ground, and then Argus tries to crush him. Vio saves Red by blinding the beast, and leaving it wide open for Blue to smash it into bits. Argus's remains reveal Force Gems, which Blue fights the others over since he was the one that technically slayed it.
He does have a point.
No, Joshua, technically he does not. If Vio had not blinded the damn monster, Blue couldn't have made the actual finishing blow. It's called teamwork. Something you don't understand. Blue is being nothing more than a selfish, egotistical prick. Which kind of reminds me of a certain Blue recolor out there that we all know.
With the Force Sword stronger, the Lynx take this opportunity to go to the Eastern Temple outside of town and free the Yellow Maiden. She rewards them with a magical item called the Moon Pearl, which she says can aid them in their quest by opening a gate to the Dark World. The Lynx return to the village and find that all the children have returned, including Arun. She bids them farewell and asks that they don't fight with each other anymore. And Chapter 3 ends with Blue, Red, and Vio pulling Green into another petty squabble right in front of her. Yeah, there's not much to talk about with this chapter, other than that with the exception of Arun and her little subplot, this is probably the one chapter that follows the events of Four Swords Adventures the closest. In the game, the children are taken to the Dark World, you have to complete tasks to save them, you then head over to the Eastern Temple, defeat Argus, and save the Yellow Maiden. Enjoy it while you can, because the next time we meet, this story is going to go in a completely different direction for about 5 chapters. So join me next time for Chapter 4, Links Torn Apart.
Well, that's it right here. Keep up the good work, Danny. Without further ado, this is Joshua E428, signing off.
Hi everybody, it's me, Luna here.
Now with 20% more Fu Manchu, which of course is cooler, although absolutely nothing like the actual Luna.
And today I'm gonna do a second rebuttal to Ricky Ray 102 on his commentary that he did back in July.
You see, now the use of Speed Racer makes sense. Though I must say, way to be timely there, Dwayne. It only took you damn near 7 months to respond to Ricky's video. Blame it on his autism.
Anyway, Luna says this is what I'm going to talk about. Now, maybe in a video I basically, well, at least Dwayne didn't explain himself carefully enough.
And you never do.
Let we talk about your assumptions or what your issues were. Okay, maybe you and a select few other people out there would be happy with having a job.
Yeah, so would all the people who currently don't have a job and could barely feed their families due to this fact because they weren't lucky enough to get their asses placed on welfare and Social Security, unlike you. Even though, you know, you do have the physical and mental ability to get a job, which means you're just a lazy fuck who lives on the work of others.
But not Dwayne. Okay, Dwayne has no desire to either work for himself or work for anyone else. So, We just covered that assumption up right there. Then, you're going around saying that that meant Dwayne hated school. No, Dwayne did not hate school. School and work, I guess you could say they're the same. The only difference is that Dwayne knew what time to get on the bus, when to get to school, what bus to get back, and repeat the process every day.
How is that any different from knowing when to get into work by either driving yourself or riding in a taxi? Knowing what to do to get your job done and going home at the end of the day. Seems pretty much the same to me.
So don't be trying to compare work and school together, okay? It's really stupid how you people try to compare work and school together. They're two separate things. Maybe they got some similarities and getting your work done, following rules, and da-da-da. Okay?
In other words, they're exactly the same. The only difference is that you don't get money for going to school, while you do get money for going to work.
What else you gonna say? What else were you? What other thing did you bring up in your little stupid argument or competitions? Like everybody else out there, you seem to take a personal offense to the fact that Dwayne made his choice not to work. Oh, yeah, that hurts you. And that you and all your other commentary friends are going to claim, yeah, that's bad. That hurts me. I'm offended.
It is less of a fact that you don't work, and it's more of a fact that you have the ability to do so, but don't. Which means you are living off our tax money to sit in your parents' house and make videos with your adventure dolls, and quite possibly fapping to Sailor Moon porn all day long.
First off, Dwayne's father, mother, and stepmother are not offended, are not angry that he chose not to work. So you people can quit trying to bitch, whine, and moan that you people made the choice to work and that Dwayne chose not to.
Let me make this very simple for you and put it in a way that I hope you can understand. Then your family is just as fucking stupid as you are. Does dumbassery run in the Skip McGowan family or something? Any parent who really cared for their child would not have taught them that autism is a crutch and something to hold you back, but would have taught you to work with it and through it to become a properly functioning human being. In other words, I am saying that you, Dwayne Skip McGowan, have bad parents.
Okay, working is a choice that a lot of people make, either because they want to, or consequences dictate them to do so. Pick or choose which one applies to you. But none of them apply to Dwayne, okay? And Luna said,
You do realize that said is the past tense use of the word says, correct? Which would mean that Luna already said it, even though that is not the case.
That's basically what your big argument was about, wasn't it? Then, another thing is, apparently, you turned Two-Face. Years ago, okay, you used to be one of those commentators that would nicely tell somebody what they were doing wrong and where they need to improve. But apparently you got peer pressure. And peer pressure dictated that you would make a nasty commentary. But then again, was what I expecting? A man who accuses everybody else of being obsessed with something.
Well, let's just see what Ricky himself has to say about this.
For a little bit, he was actually requesting me to make a commentary on one of his vids, because he actually liked the other two commentaries that I did on him back before he was a popular target. Probably because I was a bit too gentle. But since that approach didn't work on him, and the fact that I'm trying to add more humor into my videos to make them better, I'm gonna tackle this one differently.
Well, it would seem that he got tired of being nice to you, seeing as that wouldn't get through your thick fucking skull, and decided to add more humor and be a little meaner in his commentaries to everyone he dealt with. Not because we were pressuring him to do so. That was his own decision. Pay attention to what is being said, Dwayne. It usually helps.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently you're saying, oh, Dwayne's assassination with Sailor Moon is bad. It's bad. Well, you were the one going around using Speed Racer stilts in every one of your videos, and don't try to deny you don't, because a lot of your videos you're using Speed Racer in it, so you got some Speed Racer fetish yourself.
Actually, he uses Sparky and not Speed as his avatar. Though if he is obsessed with anything, it would be NASCAR and sledgehammers, not Speed Racer.
Yeah, two can play at that game. So you're gonna go, and here's the real reasons why Dwayne doesn't want to work. Number one, federal and state, county, local taxes. I know. People just wave that one off.
You complain about people having to pay taxes despite the fact that these same taxes that they are paying is what funds your welfare and social checks. Strange, isn't it?
How about screwing up the job, not doing the job right, or how about not getting on the job on time? Yeah, those ones people brush off too.
Mainly because those are your fault. That is what school was supposed to train you for. You know that thing that you said was not similar in the least bit to work? You had those same issues in school. You just didn't get paid for doing it. And you wonder why we think you're a freaking idiot.
Or how about this one? Dwayne would be unhappy with whatever job he had. First entry job, be miserable. Higher entry job, be miserable. So it wouldn't matter.
Dwayne, I don't want you to be happy. I just want you to finally grow the hell up and accept some responsibility in your life. I would also like for the rest of your family to grow up as well. People, let me make one thing very, very clear right here. I don't think Dwayne is totally at fault for the way that he is. I honestly feel it is more at the fault of his idiotic family who taught him that his disability is a crutch. They are more to blame than he is. I actually kind of feel sorry for the guy, to tell you the truth. But moving on.
Then you try to make a addition. I can't say the word right, but we all know what we mean. An argument about, oh, if Dwayne was getting paid to upload videos, would he consider his hobby bad? First off, idiot, why would that ever happen?
Because you make hundreds of videos a day and they pretty much give partnerships out like candy anymore? Hell, I got a partnership for my entire channel. You have probably been offered one as well, but just couldn't figure out how to make it work.
Dwayne ain't no YouTube partner, and he has no desire to be a partner, and he has none of the paperwork or the resources or anything to be a YouTube partner. Okay? No. So that was kind of a stupid contradiction that you just brought up.
Yeah, it's really hard to make people feel stupid and to be the bigger man when you can't even use proper English.
Okay? Maybe you would have all the resources to get that done, but I sure don't.
Well, let's see here. What is required for a YouTube partnership? The ability to make videos? Yeah, that's kind of fucking apparent, what with you having over 1,000 videos on your channel right now, and having your own YouTube channel, which is also very apparent. Seems you have everything that is needed to get a partnership on YouTube, don't you?
So, Ricky Ray 102, you're going to claim that you're better. You're going to claim, oh, I put Dwayne in his place. Whatever. And you're going to claim this. Whatever. So you and all the other commentary friends out there and you and everybody else hate Dwayne because of his lifestyle choice. Fine. Fine. But just remember, you ain't mature. You're going to go on YouTube and say, oh, Dwayne's immature because he has a stuffed Luna stuffed cat toy talking in a video.
Actually, that's a stuffed cat toy with a paper cutout of a moon that is a little bit too big when compared to the actual Luna to be exactly the same.
But at least Dwayne isn't going around hating on people because of their lifestyle choices.
Despite how you have done just that many times in the past, making it either into a contradiction, or maybe we should just
blame it on my autism.
Give me a break. You need to bloody stop worrying. You better start worrying about your own life and your own channel. Okay? All you were was an idiot that broke underneath peer pressure and made that horrible video. Okay? And maybe we're not good at doing rebuffals. Hell, no one's good at doing rebuffals.
Well, of course, no one is good at doing rebuffals when they don't exist. Though as far as rebuttals go, there are quite a few people who are good at them, such as, I don't know, Ricky Ray 102.
But you deserve to get rebuffled on twice, because you're the idiot that deserve to get buffled on twice. So hopefully in this video we explain things to your retarded mind.
Nope, you just make things worse for yourself, yet again.
Law against being obsessed with Sailor Moon. So if you're going to say it's wrong to be obsessed with Sailor Moon, then I'm going to say it's wrong to be obsessed with Speed Racer, you bloody jerk.
Woo woo woo!
Fuck you!
You know it!
What an original and completely unannoying intro we have here. I really love the title of this person's commentary, stating how unoriginal this is. It was as if he knew he was making something bad and yet he still decided to upload this crap.
You know, I've been thinking.
That you're coming out of the closet?
Oh, that is a fantastic start to your commentating career, if you can call it that. Not only do we have a generic joke that was delivered in a monotone voice that makes me wish I was watching anything made by Fluke Dog, but you also seem to think it is cool to eat your microphone. You really are going places, aren't you?
Instead of making rants and whatnot, why not make a series of videos providing tips on video games? This idea has been in my head for quite a while, and now that I have Final Cut Express and LiveType, I feel I have the right tools for the job.
Sure, Gutto, let's just say that.
What was the point of this cutaway? Seriously, you could have just made that an audio ducting segment? Do you really think we wanted to see your poor use of Shaggy? Way to use a picture where he looks excited when you sound bored out of your freaking mind, and have to listen to your poor mic quality? Well, you're right. I love barely being able to understand people when they make completely pointless statements.
The series is called D3's Video Mania Tips, and it's going to focus on games released on today's consoles.
That's original.
Oh yeah, that was a valid point put across in an extremely entertaining fashion. It is if, by you saying that, we will all forget that you are making a commentary on Guptil that is, of course, an extremely original idea.
Every so often I'm going to tackle an old school game that's on the PS3's PlayStation Store or the Nintendo Wii Shop channel, and sometimes ones that aren't. Just to keep thousands of game requests at bay, I'll list the systems I have. I have a Super Nintendo, an NES, a Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, GameCube, Nintendo DS, Game Boy Advance, and a Game Boy Color.
Jeez, that is a lot of freaking systems for a guy who just recently made yet another video about the evils of advanced technology and how it is destroying society, especially placing a PS3 on the list when you rage at internet-enabled systems for destroying arcades. Kinda hypocritical, I think. Wait, why am I doing the commentary on Guptil? Oh yeah, because this faggot decided not to do anything until the very end of the video, making this commentary he did completely pointless. Oh, the joys of the next generation of commentators.
I've also posted a link to his YouTube channel page in the video description below. I'm looking forward to getting started with this series, and I hope you'll enjoy it. It'll be coming very soon, so stay tuned. See you later. Take care. Ice cream truck!
What the hell was that? Well, see ya.
I don't know. Maybe he heard the ice cream truck and decided to make it... Wait, why am I trying to explain this to him? He said 4 things in this video, and none of them were remotely funny in the least bit. Well, at least I know who to blame for this atrocity. And it's not this commentator, but it is none other than Youngblood Fantasy 91 for inspiring him to make commentaries. Good grief, how can someone this pathetic be inspired by the, quote, backbone / god / leader / master of the commentary community, well, after the Blockbuster critic, of course, unquote. Swoosh indeed. I don't know, maybe Youngblood's causing more damage to the community than he knows. You want to know my biggest complaint about that intro?
It's bloody boring! Spruce it up some there, Guptill. At least add something to make it a little bit more exciting, some music or something. It's too freaking slow. It's downright boring, man.
As a follow-up to Rant-A-Wreck Episode 3, I've discovered more things that are wrong with the machines and devices today. Since I already talked about the compatibility issues on computers and the pixel resolution of regular channels and the dumb button layout on HD TVs, it's time to move on to other issues.
And I would be assuming that your newest complaints are going to be about as logical as your previous ones.
Now, what other thing could possibly have flaws? Well, you'll probably jump when you hear this. Cars! What on earth is wrong with cars today, I hear you claim?
Well, thanks for that. You actually kept me from having to put in a sound effect that I would have actually used to make a joke. And then your usage of Audacity to try to echo your voice. Yeah, you failed horribly at that one, by the way.
Well, calm yourself and allow me to explain. For the most part, the ways cars perform today are great. Yet, when it comes to certain parts, there are three minor things that don't seem right. Digital screens for certain elements like the speedometer, temperature gauge and fuel gauge, electric window openers, and remotes that make the car honk.
Oh, I can already feel the nitpicking tearing away at my soul.
First, let's discuss the electric window openers. The car has to be turned on in order for the openers to be operated, obviously. So if it starts to rain or snow and your windows are open, you have to get your keys, turn on the automobile, operate the buttons, and finally turn off the vehicle.
Well, that doesn't seem too bad. At least it's not like my car, where you first have to turn on the car with 30 minutes of foreplay, then you can use your keys and put them in the ignition and turn the battery on, then you have to pump the gas 20 times, then you have to change it to 93.3 the Eagle Classic Rock, and then you have to honk the horn twice, then you can start rolling down your window and turn the battery back off. The biggest problem with this whole process is the snuggling that's required afterwards. I always end up falling asleep.
But what if you misplace your keys as well as a spare key? Say hello to a huge pile of cabin snow or big puddles on the seats.
Say hello to something being your fault, and not the fault of the manufacturers themselves. It is your fault that you lost the keys. And well, just look at this picture right here a little bit closer. This car seems to have manual windows, so that would definitely be your fault for not rolling them up when you saw the snow was coming from the sky.
If the car isn't in a garage. While misplacing your car keys is very rare, it still happens. Do you remember window crankers? They were better since you didn't have to go to all that trouble. They could be operated with or without the automobile on.
All I can say is this. Why does Guptill have a car? I don't think he needs to be someone who's driving on the road. Plus, I can just imagine the number of sonic window clings that he has in the back. Rouge Tabat over and over and over again, plus the one where she's making out with Amy Rose.
But you know what's really sad?
You still making videos?
When I was discussing window crankers with my car dealer, he mentioned that only 2% of the auto industry use them. And yet people say that's progress? Yeah, right!
Well, if a system is moving to a more advanced system, then yes, that would actually be progress. Though you can do a special order for the vehicle you are buying to have manual windows if you really want. The only thing is that you'll pay more for the car.
By the way, if the car goes into water, the engine shortens out and you wouldn't be able to control the windows.
Main question here, and other than the obvious reason, I'll let you figure that one out. Why in the hell would your car be in the water? Even if it's due to an accident, most emergency workers that I know would say not to roll down the window, but to try to kick it out if you're going to escape.
Now let's discuss the digital meters and gauges. This is very minor, but the problem with these things is that if a fuse is blown, you wouldn't ever be able to see how fast you were going, how cold or hot the cabin is, how much gas you have left, and so on.
You know how much time it takes to change a fuse in a car? About half a minute or less. You really are a whiny little bastard, aren't you? Just change the fuse when it blows. It doesn't take a genius to do it. Do I need to make an instructional video for you to learn how?
At least with needle-based gauges, a blown fuse isn't too big a problem except during the night. Finally, we come to the cars that make a tiny honk when you use their remotes. This also may be incredibly minor, but by my standards, it sounds like the driver is trying to get a pedestrian's attention when it's not their intent to begin with.
Here's a fun game for everyone. Every time you see Guptill in public, lock your car with the key fob and make sure it honks so that he has to always look back because he thinks you're honking at him.
The chirping sound doesn't have that problem. Better yet, vehicles that are silent are the least distracting.
You know, I just think you're paranoid and feel like someone is following you. The thing about the chirp, well, that's for alarms, and the honk is for the standard locking to tell you that the car is locked. I prefer doing this over the silent ones because all I have to do is listen for the honk as I'm walking into the Walmart.
Now we come to the second thing. The internet.
Oh, please,
for the
tell
most
me you're not
part,
going to go
the
there
internet
again.
can be very important for certain information. News stories, video game walkthroughs, etc. However, the problem with these is that in order to get to the websites, you can pay up to $12,000 for a computer.
First, what kind of computer are you buying that costs $12,000? And second, doesn't this say $1,200? Yes, I know you put the annotation in your video on YouTube, but this does prove an actual point. You don't watch your videos for quality control before uploading them to the internet, which you are currently complaining about, by the way.
If you were going to use a game console, you'd pay up to $150.
No, you would be paying up to $350 depending on the version of the PlayStation 3 you want to buy. The new 320 gig is going to be going for $350.
It's true that there are tons of wealthy people who can afford those items, but what the community really doesn't seem to realize is that there are also poor people who can't afford something as expensive.
Am I the only one who finds this picture offensive? Just wondering.
Of course, internet cafes are much cheaper. In spite of that, no matter what computer you use, the net can go down for a long time by way of a big mess up or hackers.
Yes, because hackers have taken the entirety of the internet down before.
Because of the web, newspapers and video rental places like Blockbuster are in trouble. When video rental stores and newspapers are lost, everything gets more expensive and the poor get squeezed out.
So the internet is to blame for economic inflation? I can see how the internet makes the need for newspapers irrelevant, but not Blockbuster. Why? Because of Netflix and GameFly? Did you happen to forget about Redbox in that formula? Or just the bad business that Blockbuster's been doing lately?
In the long run, I can't justify spending about $900 to get onto Netflix.com.
Wow! The Netflix price increases were hefty lately, aren't they?
And create an account just so I can rent a movie when I can visit Redbox or Blockbuster and get what I want for just $1.
Unless, of course, they don't have what you're looking for. And the fact that they charge you another $1 for each day that you have it rented until finally they charge you the full $26 or however much it is, and you're stuck with the Barney Christmas special forever.
I could say the same thing about payphones. Cell phones can cost about $20 to $200.
Or it can be free with a contract.
And payphones usually only cost 50 cents to use.
Yeah. 50 cents for the first 5 minutes, and then 50 cents for every other 3 minutes you're on the phone.
If a poor person purchases a cell phone, they can easily run out of minutes.
Well, running out of minutes is going to be your fault yet again. Stop talking on the phone so much if you're having this issue.
Once that happens, they may need to use a payphone to make a call if they're away from home. Also, much like misplacing your car keys, you could forget your mobile phone by accident, and if you need to make an urgent call, it's time for payphone hunting.
And yet, it's going to be your fault yet again. And wouldn't that be an interesting hunting show? Hunting the payphone with Guptill89. Holy crap, you found it!
Going back to the internet topic, what if in the future we would have to buy electronics strictly from BestBuy.com instead of the store or hardware from the Home Depot's official website?
Convenience?
American
What's
life
that?
is being turned upside down, and I don't think for good reasons.
You know, I believe putting an American flag upside down is a bad thing because it's a sign of anarchy or something of that sort.
Something else I have begun to have a beef with is online school classes. Again, does nearly everything have to be over cyberspace?
You know, most colleges let you pick between online and classroom classes. Don't go to schools that advertise as online-only schools if you have this much of a problem in the first place.
The only advantage I can see with online classes is not having to drive to the school, especially in bad weather. Being in a classroom is better because you're always required to listen and do the assignments.
Then what do you say to the guy who is always sleeping in class and never does his assignments? That is why there's a grading system. Listening and doing assignments is a choice, and you have the right to flunk out of said class if you really want to.
Online classes can work the other way around. The information superhighway is the most distracting thing on the planet, and some students can easily stray from the college website and do poorly.
I'm just going to guess that this is their fault as well.
Of course, things similar to this have happened in the past, although something tells me it's more severe these days.
Are you saying that this kid is in college? Or is it the lady who is griping out the kid?
The cartoon short Internet Distractions by College Humor paints a clear picture on how diverting the World Wide Web is.
You know, I really thought collegehumor.com would be on your blacklist. You know, what with your whole being a member of the No Cuss Club.
In conclusion, don't throw out window crankers. Video rental stores and newspapers should continue to thrive for decades, and online school classes can't be treated as another internet amusement.
Final thoughts. Gut till still no like changes. This was nothing more than a video nitpicking about stupid things yet again, much like his other rant videos.
What is up, guys, from the dive in the kitchen to the things that keep you standing. Today is a video reviewing TOG's video or rant on worthless people. This is a video talking about people in his mind he sees worthless. This is probably going to be a short video. His video is only 6 minutes and 55 seconds, so if you want to go watch it, then you can watch it. But anyways, on with the show.
If you will allow me to get my one and only pot shot out in this video, I would do so right now. I just love it when someone's audio randomly spikes as if they are moving back and forth away from their mic. Fix the audio quality, broski, because this quality sucks.
To begin with, this is going to be the same type of deal with my last week's video on BBC's review. It's going to be me taking his points and then spinning the web, using it to my advantage. Yeah, basically, if you know the reference to that lyric, then good for you.
Okay, I'm actually going to get 2 pop shots out here. It's really sad when it is completely and totally obvious, with only seeing the intro, that unscripted is not your forte. Could I suggest writing out your thoughts beforehand? That would really help.
So let's start with the first point. He mentions people with autism who are worthless. An example for this was never given throughout the video. I expected to see worthless people who had autism, but there was none. He gave examples of people who may or may not have autism, but no autistic people who are worthless. If that makes sense. That point is probably a bit confusing, so I'm sorry if you don't understand it, but yeah. And then this one's going to be like my one and only pointless point. He wastes a minute on the subject of autism just to change subjects. That kinda irked me. Like, you wasted a minute just to not even talk about it. Like, come on. Half and half.
Here's the issue with this point right here. I didn't say people with autism are worthless. I rewatched the video that I made to make sure that those words never left my mouth because I honestly don't believe that they are. For me to say that everyone with autism is worthless would be a hard thing to do since quite a few of my closest friends, both online and offline, are indeed autistic. The only reason that subject was brought up was to lay the groundwork and backstory to why I was making that video in the first place. And I specifically stated in that video that it was not on autistic people. To an extent, you are taking my words out of context, whether due to a lack of understanding of what I was saying or another reason that I don't know of. But if I honestly had said something like that everyone with autism was worthless, I would be a liar and deserve to be strung up by my boss for saying that. Hence, I would never do so.
Alright, now let's get into the juicy part. He forgets to add this as an opinion. He keeps mentioning how this is about worthless people, worthless people, worthless people. But he has to realize he has a base of 1.1 thousand people watching his videos. Well, on this video, 400. So let's say that's the max, because as I look at other videos by him, there's a general consensus of 400 people watching. Now, that's 400 people he's affecting. Now, if these people love his videos religiously, he will be affecting these people with his own views. That is bad, because he needs to let them conclude what worthless people are. This whole video is an opinion. What one man sees as worthless, another can see as worthful. So, you need to understand, if something is subject to affecting another, you have to, if you want to be seen professionally, you need to add the fact that it's your opinion. Unless you're in a business standpoint, then you want to push and push and push. But we're not selling a business, we're selling opinions. So, make it known that this is your opinion, or you may have another man saying this as fact, and you don't want that.
I have said this a million times before, and I will say it yet again here. You do not have to preference or conclude a statement with the phrase, in my opinion, for it to be an opinion. I never said anywhere in that particular video that those viewpoints were facts. If someone comes into a video of this sort and takes what I say as fact and nothing short of fact, that is something they will have to work out in their own mind. I have never said that anything I say is a fact unless I cite undeniable evidence, which I never did in that video. If what I said came across as me trying to sell it as a fact, then that was a flaw on my part and not my intention. In all honesty, when you're learning to give presentations, you do not preface or close everything you say with the words, in my opinion, because in all honesty, to say those phrases over and over again throughout a presentation is very, very unprofessional. And anyone who coaches you in giving presentations and giving speeches will tell you to not do so because of how unprofessional and how unnecessary these phrases are. Because it is an understood thing that what you are saying is indeed an opinion unless you give undeniable evidence to preference what you are stating.
So to start off with 3 examples, he gave 4, but I do not use the 4th because 3 was enough in my head. The drunk man who has a hangover the next day and complains. Now, I see how this can be an inconvenience to society, but worthless in society, I don't see how. Now, hypothetically, let's say this man had a child. This child will see their father drink on the weekends and then goes to work the next day. That will leave an impression on the child, and that child will have to conclude whether they want to follow that father's footsteps or change their route. That isn't worthless, but more so effective. Not affecting. So, yes, he's affecting the society around him in a negative light, but that's still having an impact. Worthless is if they're shit. But I will get into that later. I will give my own examples of worthless.
Here's the issue I see with this point in particular. You took what I said as someone who occasionally gets plastered and then complains about it. What I was talking about are the people who get drunk 4 to 5 nights out of the week, and I have known these people in my life. Not someone who occasionally gets drunk or has a drink every now and then. Because I myself will have a drink on an occasion, just ask Sarah the cat. She knows all about it. Though there is something to say about a person who knows that they have responsibilities to take care of, but then decides to get completely and totally piss-ass drunk anyway, knowing that this action will negatively affect their abilities and performance when doing so. Then also to say someone who gets drunk every weekend in front of their child is another story completely. As someone who has been personally affected by drunks who lashed out in rage when they are drunk, in the forms of an ex-brother-in-law and a deceased grandfather, I feel that these people are worthless in their own rights, for the fact that studies show that children of alcoholics are twice as likely to become alcoholics themselves, and it also increases the chances for abuse of any form depending on the alcoholic in question. As a father myself, I do indeed see these people as worthless for the sole fact that they are scarring their children in ways that are sometimes irreversible and shouldn't really be parents to begin with. Take that one as you will and with a grain of salt, please.
Then there's the detox marijuana smoker wanting a job. Again, how is that worthless? He's not really affecting anyone. I know how the last one I mentioned how that man can affect the society around him in a negative way, but still affect people to change their distance. But this man, he's more of not affecting the society in a negative way. He's like he mentioned the repercussions of this man's actions. If anything, he's like hindering himself. He's not hurting anyone by smoking marijuana, needing detox pills to go to a job. You know who that hurts? Himself. So how is that worthless? That's more so inconveniencing himself.
To this one, I like to say you obviously haven't been around that many stoners. They will have more of an effect on others around them than you are giving them credit for. Their actions will affect their families and friends. I have seen people lose their jobs because they could not get rid of the joint, because they refused to seek help, and that affected their children in the fashion of the parent not being able to support them in the way they should. Though they really weren't doing a good job on that beforehand because they were spending more money on getting their next high than buying necessities of life. I have also seen these same people using government aid that could have been used to support someone who really needed it, and which is a waste of tax dollars which affects everyone, which is an effect on society in general. The main issue here is that you are not looking at the full picture. Now I will also say this. The use of marijuana or alcohol in moderation is not a terrible thing, nor is the use of medical marijuana via prescription. The only time it becomes an issue is when it is an addiction that takes complete control of you to the point where the addiction is more important to you than anything else, and you refuse help or assistance to work on said problem. I wasn't very clear with this in my video, which was nothing short of an error on my part. Someone who is willing and actively working to correct this and to turn their lives around is not worthless. Someone who doesn't care and refuses to do anything about it is.
And then for his third example, which is the worst example, is of the man wanting or aspiring to join the military just to think that it's a game of some sort and things like that. That's as far as I'm going to describe that scenario, because it was just the same thing with different scenarios. Now I don't see this as worthless. Any man willing to join the ranks to fight for our country cannot be worthless. He wants to fight for yours, mine, everyone's safety. Even if that's not his agenda, that's what he'll be doing. So, therefore, he cannot be worthless. He's putting himself in the fight of the fire. So, therefore, he cannot be worthless.
You know what? You are completely and totally correct. The person you described is not worthless. They're just ignorant of the truth and due for a very rude awakening when they learn the military is not a game. But here's the issue. You are leaving out a very important factor in the description of who I was talking about. I mentioned about how they went AWOL 3 times, and for anyone who doesn't know what that is to leave the military base and the military in general without permission. Then they purposefully injured themselves in an effort to receive a medical discharge with honors because they didn't want to be in the military anymore, despite the fact that they hadn't even finished basic training. Someone who joins the military and is willing to follow through with their commitment is not worthless in my eyes. To say so would be for me to say this about many members of my own family, including one cousin who was a member of the 101st Airborne that is now, with his current position, could be anywhere in the world on a black op and we will never know where he is. And then another who fought his way up to the rank of general, and one more who was a member of the Navy with the rank of captain who sadly passed away due to cancer. Which is something I would never do. I would never call these people worthless. If the person I mentioned had fought and made it through his commitment to the military and to the country without looking for the easy way out, then he would not be worthless in my mind. There is also the fact that me and many other people attempted to stop him before he entered the military because we knew for a fact that he wouldn't make it due to the way that he was and how well we knew him. This was another point where I feel you omitted certain items that were important, which caused you to misquote me way out of context.
I will give you an example of worthlessness. Even recently, we've seen things like the Boston bombing, the Sandy Hook shooting, the Colorado movie shooting. Those four people who did those tasks, those are worthless. Wanna know why? Those 3 people are insane. They killed multiple people. They've ripped the people they killed away from their families to never bring them back. They've hindered people and handicapped them. Those people are worthless. They did not contribute to society anyway. They hindered society, made it go backwards. Make us second thought the very laws we established in our Constitution. They basically made our society devolve into a time where we question ourselves and look left and right for a man who doesn't exist. And that man is righteousness.
Before you go any further, I would like to point this out.
That isn't worthless, but more so effective. Not affecting. So, yes, he's affecting the society around him in a negative light, but that's still having an impact. Worthless is if they're shit.
To use your definition that you gave earlier in your own video, which I just played, would be to say that these people you are stating in your mind as worthless are not worthless, but actually very useful. This will be the Achilles heel for the remainder of the examples you are going to give from here on out, as well as because what you are saying now is a complete contradiction to what you said earlier in this video. I will lay the blame on your video being unscripted and that not being your forte, as it were. To that purpose, I will be skipping your next example because there is no defense for a rapist, and I will not attempt to do so past saying that your definition that you gave earlier still would fit into that example.
Basically, there are many examples of worthless people TOG did not reference. In my head, these are people you have to reference. The killer, the serial killer, the rapist, the thief. These people are taking sensual thought processes and ridding them of the owner. They take correction, judgment, justification, righteousness away from the very people they affect. A man drinking to go to work the next day and complain is ridding no one of correction, justification, and whatever 2 examples I used previously.
To that, I will say this. You are saying that if I made a video giving the examples of rapists, child molesters, and murderers, then you would have been right behind me with no issues. Here's the issue with this personally. Why would I want to make a video talking about the exact same people you have heard about a million times before? To make a video of that sort would be way too easy, and would not start what I was hoping for with that video, which is honest debate and thought process. Though I am not entirely sure what you're talking about saying a thief ripping sexual thought from others are that these people are taking correction, justification, righteousness, and judgment away from their victims. Since the victims will have the ability to pass righteous judgment against those who have wronged them in the court of law, and by doing so the victims themselves can be awarded with justification, and correction would be passed upon the transgressor.
A man smoking marijuana to get detox pills for an interview. They do not rid them of the 4 examples I use. The man wanting to join the ranks do not rid these people of those 4 things. A man wanting to do all these things, whether it be smoking, drinking, or wanting to join the ranks, those people are not worthless.
Shit. You forgot to conclude that statement with, in my opinion, didn't you? That means you were trying to pass this along as a factual statement, aren't you? I just felt like you should see how that sounds coming from the other side of the debate. Sounds kind of stupid, doesn't it?
Depending on the situation, they may be hindering, or they may be immature. But they are not worthless. They're just another being on this earth. TOG, you probably won't see this video, so I won't send a message to you, but if you happen to, I don't mean to offend you. It's just a review from me to another person.
Kind of strange that you say that you will not send this to me and then make it a video response to my video, which would then mean that I would receive a notification that it is out there. Though, to be honest, I'm not offended at all, because I feel this opens the ground for a very healthy debate and the possibility for personal growth among anyone who views these videos through said debates.